Hi, welcome. Welcome to this moment of reflection, pause, and maybe even a moment that we can really, you know, think about what is going on. And the the times are really requesting some pause and some also clarity when we go around in the world and we go around with a lot of information, we go around with a lot of the idea that we understand and we know things, we are very addicted to that, right? But the reality is that we don't know a lot, and a lot of it, the information is also, of course, worked. People worked upon that information and the things that we believe that are the truth. And until now, the the means that we believed that were the truth maybe are not so much the truth anymore, or at least they are under a bias, under a mindset. And at this moment, I think that is what is causing us um, a little bit of the surprise. We are getting highly surprised by, whoa, but I thought this was, the truth. And I thought this was reality. And suddenly we go like, wow, maybe this is not at least the only reality possible. And I think we are also getting to this moment in life as a collective that we are some more, some less, realizing that is no way we can go around in the world, without bias, without having a perspective about things, that we cannot go around with our beliefs, and our beliefs are our beliefs. So that can make several scenarios coming to us. The scenario that we get humble and we go like, oh, okay, this is just one perspective, this is just my belief, and we admit it, and we admit to ourselves and to others that is a possibility that we don't know all the truth and maybe even we are wrong. Okay, but can also create the possibility that we want to convince others that our perspective, our own beliefs, our own vision of the world is the right one, right? So can be that we become a little bit more extreme in that sense and a little bit less tolerant because of that as well. And I I have the sensation that more people are going for the humble part of this and saying, okay, I'm not the only one having an opinion. I'm not the only one having a perspective. More people have this, and maybe everyone has one. I think more people are going to this frame, but a lot of people are going to the frame that no, my perspective of the world is the one that we should continue with. And that is bringing more radical attitude, right? More drastic measures to go there, to get that, because of course is difficult. And I believe that, and this is of course a belief, that the main thing here is to keep ourselves clear and lucid, and is really making an effort to no load the distraction on the idea that we are getting informed, getting away from the distraction that maybe we are getting finally the truth, because will never be possible to get the truth, the full truth, whatever that is, and is also not possible to see the world without that perspective. So bias is really a thing. Bias is really a thing, and we need to admit that we cannot go around without, but we need to, or I think is necessary, that each one of us once in a while reflects, and once in a while question our own bias. Questions like, wow, what this means for me? Is this still what I want to believe in? And realize what I'm saying. This is still what I want to believe in. Because it's a wanting. It's a decision that if we want to continue believing in certain things or not, is not an obligation, and is also not for sure something that we cannot change. We can change our beliefs, and we can change also, the way we see the world, and we can also change the way we behave, of course. And that's the thing, is that, and we go back almost like to the main thing that I'm always repeating, decision. And I believe is much more about that, is taking ownership on our own decisions and saying, no, this is my decision, this is what I want right now, then this is the truth, or this is how things are. We have the aiming, and me being a philosopher, I see that a lot. We want to be right, and we want to, make an argument that is, more logical possible, and still we will fail, and still we'll get some argument back, some of them very distorted from the first argument, but we still will get some good arguments back. And that's the thing, is that logic doesn't prove truth. Logic proves logics. So this argument is truth as the truth in himself, not the truth from the world. Okay, so that's one of the things that I think sometimes we get a little bit the illusion that if the argument is logical, let's say, has the truth inside of himself, that is the universal truth. That's not how that works. An argument can be true in himself and even not be, the full truth from the world. Has to be some truth in it, of course, some observational or some reality check, but the argument can be built in a way that is logical and still doesn't represent the full truth of, the universe. And I think that's where our brain makes the tricky thing, right? Because if our brain understands, if our brain and our mental structure gets the point, we tend to make that the truth, and is purely an illusion, that truth, because it's a construction, right? And I'm not saying that everything is a lie, but a lot of things are. But the main thing is that we are very obsessed with building the truth upon our own mind, and our own mind is made of perspective. I think that is the main thing that I want to say, is that I'm realizing now that I'm getting to the point, like this is what I want to say, is that we are so stuck in the idea that our mind can know the truth, that we forget that our mind is just a construction and is constructing things and is, creating things as well, and is making things almost like a little puzzle. Sometimes not so little, but a puzzle. And just because the piece of the puzzle fits doesn't mean that is the right one. And if you do a lot of puzzles like we do, you know that sometimes almost seems like the piece is, oh, this is the one, and then we look and it doesn't make any sense in the image or what we are building, right? So that is the illusion. Sometimes, if not a lot of times, our mind is doing that, is, making the puzzle go, but doesn't mean that the puzzle is the ultimate truth as well. So, I decided to start talking. I didn't prepare anything, and the reality is that I'm going to the point that is being so important to me these days, and that is the truth and the authenticity of that truth, and realizing that looking for the truth outside is a big waste of time. Because what is that all about, right? Doesn't exist. It's very difficult to get the full truth, even if we think that we have the means to. We get very obsessed with science and studies, and still, believe me, the science is not the ultimate truth, not even close by. But realizing that we have truth in ourselves, right? We have our own perspective, and accepting that is a perspective and our truth is that perspective. And I think that when we even communicate this is how I see things, I'm not saying that is the only way of seeing things, but I'm saying that this is how I see it. And sometimes the way I see it makes it is so, you know, is so authentic for me that becomes really hard to see another way. So I'm going to stay with my truth, and I'm not obligating anyone to stay in my truth, but I will not let go of my truth because someone is saying that they have a different one. Only by that. So is this realization that some parts of me are willing to negotiate. Some parts of me are willing to listen to others. And some parts of me are super willing to learn new things and, change. Some parts of me are not. Some parts of me are not. And I'm going to share something with you. So, last week we said goodbye to my grandfather, and I said to my cousin, I said to her, I don't know why, but I have this pure sensation that he was already 100 years, and he was repeating this so many times, saying, oh, I think I already did 100 years, because he officially, his birthday is now in this month, the 31 of October. And but he was saying so many times, like, no, I think I did it already, I think I did it. And I said to my cousin, I'm going to believe him. I just decided that I'm going to believe him. So and she looked at me like, yeah, why not? Why not to believe what he said? Even if he was questioning himself. But why not to believe that? And I took that decision. I'm going to believe it. So for me, my grandfather was already 100 years old, even if it was like 20 days for it. So the thing is that some parts of me I don't want to negotiate, and I'm okay. And I'm okay with saying this is what I want to stay with. And I'm not making anyone, to stay with that. I'm not going to make that a mission. I'm not going to make that even, a statement. I'm just going to believe that. And that's kind of a freedom, because I think we lose a lot of time trying to convince other people about things that they don't want to be convinced. They don't want even to know. Sometimes they don't want to talk about it. They just don't want that reality for themselves. And I think is a waste of time, but maybe even a kind of a violence that we do sometimes with the best of intentions. But I'm much more in the frame of, okay, what is the reality that you want right now? What do you want to stay with? What do you want to negotiate? And what you are willing to negotiate, and what you are not willing to negotiate. And that's fine. And that's really fine, because that's you. That's me, right? That's each one of us. And that's maybe what we aim for. Maybe that's really what we aim for all this time, is that we are in presence of ourselves, and sometimes we are also in presence of others, and we allow others to impact, to change us, to influence us, and sometimes we don't, and that's fine, right? So I think this is what I wanted to say, and I'm happy that I didn't prepare anything and I just came in, because that also helps me to realize that whatever I say, I end up on the same stuff. That means that that's the path, right? That means that is what my mind is wanting to say, but also my body is wanting to say. Have a great week. Take care of yourself, because today is Monday. Yeah, decide and decide what you want to get or not, and what you want to talk or not, and what you want to negotiate or not. And yeah, I think we are getting there. Take care of yourself.